Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joni or Jones, and I'm really excited to be talking about how to find your dream social media internship. I'm going to be going over finding the social media internship posting and nailing your interview and how to make an impression as an intern. For the past few months, I've been a social media intern myself, and so I have a lot of experience and expertise in social media internships particularly, but this video may be helpful for you if you're seeking any internship in the creative field like advertising or marketing. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The first thing you need to do is actually find an internship. So there are so many different ways to find opportunities. The easiest way to find job opportunities is using search engines like LinkedIn, Indeed, or internships.com, and that is a really great way to start looking and just to see if there are any opportunities in your area. But the best way that I recommend finding a position, especially for a particular company that you're looking into, is to go onto their website. Every company should have a careers website that you can browse through and find different job opportunities, including internships. So I would definitely go explore there and see their different locations if they have one in your area, or even if you're willing to travel. And then right now, I'm sure there's a ton of remote internships as well. The second way that you can find job opportunities is to sign up for your dream company's email list. Many companies, especially smaller ones, will send out newsletters to their customers, but that also includes possible job postings. I know for where I work, they send out job opportunities to their email newsletters, so that is definitely a way that you can have opportunities just come into your mailbox. It also just makes it really easy to click on the job posting and get to know it immediately rather than having to seek it out yourself. It's just a way to have that direct communication with job openings. The third way that you can find opportunities or even create opportunities for yourself is cold emailing and cold direct messaging. Cold emailing is basically emailing someone that you found and you've never met them before, and it could be someone that works at the company that you are wanting to work for. It definitely is a daunting way to get your name out there, but it can be the most effective because you are bringing yourself to them. They don't have to look for you. So here is an example of a cold email or a cold message on the screen. You can pause that to read it, or I also have it linked down below in the description. With cold direct messaging, that could be searching up people who work for your company and messaging them and connecting with them through LinkedIn. Basically, what you do is you look up the company's name and the position that you would be most interested in. So for example, I'm gonna search Disney and social media intern or marketing executive. And LinkedIn will show you all the people that have that job description within their LinkedIn profile, and you can go ahead and make a connection with them and send them a message really explaining you and what you are looking for. There are a ton of do's and don'ts with this and ways to approach people. Definitely try to make it a genuine connection. Don't make it seem like you're asking for any favors or just trying to get your foot in the door. It's really all about making that initial connection and letting them know why you're messaging them. And the fourth way, and probably one of the most unknown ways, I would say, to find an internship or job is to use Facebook groups. There are so many different Facebook groups for different interests and different niches. There's so many out there where people just post job postings whenever the company that they're working for or someone that they know is working for. You can join groups based on your culture, so I'm a part of a group that is Filipino creatives, and so there's just different ones like that. There's industry-based ones, there's location-based ones, like I've seen some that's like creatives in LA or something like that. So you can definitely just search Facebook for those different groups, and there are seriously so many that you can use. It's also a great way to connect with people and network and just make those genuine connections again, which is like the most important thing. So what exactly does a social media internship entail? Here's a sample job description that we can look over, and it really depends on the type of internship you have. So with my internship, my social media internship, it's more about social media maintenance and copywriting and tracking trends and things like that. You may find yourself applying for an internship that's more like a digital marketing internship, which is dealing more with like paid ads and analytics and things like that. So it really just depends on what you're looking for, but I'm just going to pull up this job description as an example so that you can kind of see what you would be doing in a social media internship. Okay, so this one is for PetSmart. And so basically the description says you will be getting involved in trending topics and seeking relevant conversations, monitoring the social media channels, and working with the PR team to find engagement opportunities, engage with customers, present your ideas, develop and grow your skills. So this is a pretty basic description of what a social media internship is. You're being involved with social media by strategizing ideas and talking with customers. A lot of it is customer service, monitoring trends, like I said. So that is just a really basic description of what you would be doing in a social media internship. Things that I do is I manage the social media comments and messages. I facilitate giveaways, so sometimes I'll be researching brands to work with for giveaways or influencers, as well as content creation, so making reels or TikToks or taking photos of products and things like that. But like I said, your social media internship may involve more advertising. So that would be along the lines of running paid ads and researching when your customers are engaging most with your content in order to determine when you should be running your ads, and working on targeted ads and things like that. There's so much that a social media intern can do, and it just really depends on the company's needs at the time. Some skills that you may need. So you don't necessarily need a college degree or to be majoring in a similar field, but it does help. I've seen a lot of internships where you do need to be majoring in those specific areas, but for some companies it's not a requirement. So if social media is something you're interested in and you are going to college, I definitely recommend majoring in communication, marketing, advertising, and honestly even English. So some skills that you may want to have going into this internship are knowing the Adobe Creative Suite, so Photoshop and Lightroom and Illustrator, just general basic knowledge of it, because you may be doing photo editing or video editing. You also may want to build your skills in analyzing data. So it's really important in social media to analyze the trends, analyze the insights of your social media and how that affects your business, which goes into also having a really good eye for social media trends. So it's really important to be on platforms like Twitter and TikTok to really see what the conversation on social media is at the time. Copywriting skills are definitely important. In my internship, I write captions and blog posts. So having a strong writing style or sense of writing is important so that you already have a good foundation of how to speak to your audience. Copy editing is also really important. You may be having to be a second or third eye on a graphic or a blog post where you'll have to see if there are any grammatical errors or spelling errors and things like that, and that's really helpful for an intern to be a part of. Customer service experience is also always a plus in social media because most likely you will be handling a lot of the comments or direct messages that your company may be getting through social media, and so having that customer service experience, being able to communicate effectively with your customers is really important. And lastly, just general knowledge of pop culture is really helpful. In social media, you may find that your company likes using humor in their social media platforms, particularly maybe in Twitter or Instagram. And so knowing pop culture trends and just pop culture references in general is gonna help you figure out how to strategize that creative and funny content. Alright, so that is basically all you really need to know for what you'll actually be doing in the internship. But now, you've finally secured that internship, so it is now time for the interview. Interviews can be really intimidating, and nowadays a lot of them are going to be held remotely or online. That is the context of interviews that I will be talking about today. Personally, I did have a remote interview, so I definitely do have more experience in that area. The first thing you need to do is properly prepare for your interview. And the most important thing you need to do is research the company. Check out their about page. If your company has products, go through their products, see what they sell, assess why they sell it, and how it benefits their customers, and just really do an overall assessment on their website just to see how their aesthetic is, what their vibe may be, what their company culture is. All that information is typically on the website, and it's a perfect place for you to reference during your interview. The second thing that you want to do is do a full social media assessment. Go through all of the company's social medias, Instagram, Facebook, see if they have a TikTok, Twitter, etc. And that is going to give you a good idea of how they use social media and what you can bring to the table. Ask yourself these questions. What does the company do well? Where can the company improve? How can you help them in this area? And what is their engagement like? Are their customers happy with their business? I did this before I interviewed, and it really helped me see how they market and also what they're doing differently from their competitors and things like that. Just doing an overall analysis is going to give you a bigger picture. It's going to make you feel more prepared, and it's also going to show them how much you know. Write down everything that you see wrong, everything that you see right, so that you can bring that up in the interview if it comes up. In any interview, there are going to be different types of interview questions. There's experiential, situational, and personal. Experiential is just those basic screening questions of you basically repeating your resume, but also going into more detail. So they may be asking you to elaborate on some of the details that you did put in your resume. And so that is where you come in and explain and make sure that you really show your value and how the experiences that you've had have made an impact on you. Second is situational. So situational is basically questions where you'll be asked about a certain situation and what you would do in that situation. So for example, a question would be, what would you say to this customer in a direct message if they said this? Or how would you respond to this comment? Situational is really where they'll see how you think and how you operate. Very important to be strategical about these questions and answers so that you are able to show how capable you are of being in these tough situations. And again, this is why it's really important to reference the job description, because they want somebody that fits that description. They're looking for someone that they feel is the best fit for their company, and all of those traits that they mentioned in their job description is what they're looking for. Remember to reference that, and that'll definitely help you out in the situational context. So for example, if they said that they're looking for someone analytical, how would an analytical person approach a certain situation? Just things like that. Third is personal. Personal questions is really where they get to know you and your personality, and so this is a great time to show who you are. Obviously, you can still be professional, but it's really great to just show a little bit of your personality and just how you are in general, so they can see your vibe. Personal questions could be like, what is your favorite social media network? Or where do you see social media in 5 years? Those are just some of the questions that I got, and those are definitely tougher for me because I prepared a lot for the technical questions. So the personal questions were honestly harder for me, but definitely think about personal questions that may be curveballs to you, and just do a self-reflection. Really ask yourself like how you see yourself in this role and what you can bring to it, if that makes sense. The third step after you've had your interviews, whether you have one or two, this is really important, is to follow up. I didn't do that great of a job on this. I only sent follow-ups to one of my interviewers, but thank you notes are really important. They show your employer that you are eager, that you're grateful for the opportunity, and that you're just interested. It really shows your character. Like, it just shows that you are considerate and you are just really, really eager about this internship. Thank you emails are really simple. Basically, you just write out hi, their name, and then say, thank you so much for interviewing me this morning or this afternoon. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Something very simple like that, and it's really easy. Takes like 2 minutes, and just send that out a couple hours after your interview. So all that, your resume, your interview, now you gotta actually deliver on those things that you wrote. Whew. I have a lot of tips for making an impression, so bear with me. But yeah, here we go. Bring ideas. Most likely they're bringing on an internship to help them out with a lot of the tasks that they don't have time to do, but it is also an opportunity for you to apply what you've learned in school and actually produce results that your company finds value with. Don't know if that was English, but yeah. Basically, before my internship started, I wrote down a bunch of ideas for content, social media, engagement, and just things like that. All of those ideas came from doing that social media assessment before my interview, where in case it came up in the interview, I had ideas already. So definitely write down all of your ideas. You may not be able to implement these ideas right away, or your company may have already done them before, tried them before, and it didn't work. However, it's still good to put your ideas out there so that they can see, like your supervisor and your coworkers can see how you work and how you think about things. You really want to show them that you have a different perspective coming into this, because most likely you'll be much younger than the rest of the people in the company. So you have the opportunity to bring your fresh new ideas to them and show that you're thinking about it and that you have those critical thinking skills. Second tip is to be proactive. Whether it's engaging with your coworkers or attending extracurricular activities outside of work with your coworkers, it's so important to be proactive in your attitude and your interactions. Whether this be going out of your way to message your coworker a happy birthday if it's their birthday, or congratulating someone on their work anniversary and things like that. It's just so important to just make those genuine connections with people. Being proactive is also being attentive to your coworkers' needs. So really see if they need help with anything, or get a general idea of what their workload is like and see if it is something that you can help them with. If you finish your work early or just have more time on your plate, ask your supervisor for more work, or ask your coworkers if they need help with anything. For example, I helped my coworker out with a blog post and a couple of social media captions, and now I write social media captions and blogs all the time. Being proactive just allows you to not only make an impression on your coworkers and help them out, but also build your skills and get those opportunities that you want. Everyone always needs help sometimes, and so just being attentive to others' needs is going to get you those opportunities. There are tons of opportunities within your internship while you're there. Networking, assisting coworkers outside of your department, and researching are all ways that you can use your opportunities to grow your skill sets. For example, if your supervisor asks your help for a project or to help them out with a certain thing, say yes. You want to dip your toe into anywhere possible, and so take advantage of every opportunity that you get to learn a new skill or to interact with someone outside of your department. However, I've seen a lot of videos about internships where to say yes to every single opportunity, which is great, but I would also suggest to know your boundaries. Personally, I know the feeling of wanting to take more work and just wanting to prove myself so bad that I'm willing to help anyone and everything. But when it comes to that, if you only have a few hours each week to work, like some interns may only have 10 hours a week or 15 hours a week, which isn't a lot of time in the grand scheme of things, you may not have time to help out everyone that's asked you. Make sure that you have time to commit to someone's request before you say yes. So your internship is your opportunity to network, especially if you're still in college while you're doing your internship. These are people that you can still talk to down the line and even after graduation. Your coworkers are literally the best resource for you to learn what you want to learn. It may not be appropriate for some workplaces because I personally don't know the work culture of other companies, but for me, I've followed most of my coworkers on Instagram, and that's just one way that I like to stay connected with them and build relationships outside of work. Because of that, my coworkers have been so supportive. It's insane. Like, even though I'm an intern, my coworkers have hyped me up on Instagram. They've supported my sticker business. Like, so many of them have bought stickers from me, and it's just really validating to see like how welcoming they've been and how they really see me as a coworker. I personally think that my relationships with my coworkers wouldn't be as strong if I didn't interact with them on social media or just outside of work in general. So there's just so much value in getting to know people rather than just their position at the company. You can learn so much from your coworkers. Like, they most likely have years of experience in their belt, and so if there's anything that you need help with or want to learn, like, go ahead and just ask them. I'm sure they would be more than willing to help you. And finally, my fifth and final tip, and probably one of the most important, is to speak up. This can be a tough one if you're an introvert or have social anxiety like me, but remember that it's all part of making an impression and just learning and growing. Speaking up is one way that you can show your value and what you bring to the table by just suggesting something in a meeting or presenting a problem to your team. In meetings, you may find people asking for solutions or telling their coworkers what issues they're having with something. And so if that ever comes up, offer a solution. Try to think of a way to help them and use what you've learned and really think about how you can solve the problem. Even if you don't truly know how to, like if it's like a product problem or something like that, there's always some way that you can enter yourself into the conversation and tell them something helpful. Finally, I'll just be sharing some things that I've personally learned being a social media intern. There are just 3 things that I want you to take away from this, and it kind of just encompasses everything that I've talked about today. Be yourself, be honest, and be willing. I can't tell you how much these 3 lessons have really helped me be the best intern that I can be, and ultimately create quality content that I'm extremely proud of. In your internship, remember to always take opportunities and just be yourself. Allow them to get to know you. Especially with the remote environment, it can be hard to make connections over Zoom or over Slack, but that's where social media could come in hand, or that is where you can have those genuine conversations with them outside of work or in a meeting, anything really. I really hope all of these tips were really helpful for you. I wish I could have found a detailed video like this one before I started my internship, so I really hope that this was insightful and gave you some information that you may have not known or seen on the internet already. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited to continue to make more videos. Feel free to like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. Good luck with all of your internship and job endeavors. I wish you nothing but the best, and I'll see you in my next video.